Vinitha, hi, good morning. Vinitha, hello. Vinitha, hi, good morning, Vinitha.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you be a little louder? I'm unable to hear you. ரொம்ப வீக்கா இருக்கு உங்க voice.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Uh, இல்ல, இன்னும் it's still not audible properly. It is audible, but partially, yes.
So now,
இல்ல, not really, not really.
sir, can you hear me now, sir?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. First of all, delay. See, everything every day is getting delayed because I get on to client calls sometimes in the mornings because I take care of client servicing also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. And a quick recap about yesterday. Vinutha, can you please brief me about what happened yesterday and where were we? Let me quickly share the screen. Just give me a moment.
Okay, sir. Excuse me.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. So, could we begin with a quick recap about yesterday and move on to the next classes?
Sure, sir. So we discussed about pronunciation,
Hmm.
voice quality, voice modulation,
Hmm.
phonetics, formal and informal language,
Hmm.
facial and hand gestures, and you were about to mention something about capturing vibes, people who have such vibe, and that's where we stopped.
Okay. And
Yes.
yeah, any questions on any one of them or any questions on what we discussed yesterday? Do you have any clarifications to sort it out?
So is it all right to have hand gestures, or should that be avoided?
That's a good question. What do you think? Does hand gestures help? See, the gestures, the body language, your eye contact uh, is more visible when you are physically present. Not it doesn't work virtually. Virtually, yes, it happens when you are on a video mode. But yes,
Correct.
predominantly that will help you when you meet people or when you are with people physically, your physical presence.
Okay,
What
sir.
do you think? What do you think? Does hand gestures is are they positives or do you think uh, what do you think about it?
I think it's positive because it sort of goes, it's sort of connected to what a person is trying to say and the hand gesture. So if it's not too loud, I think it's all right. But then I wasn't certain.
See, when you talk about hand gestures, Vinita, let me quickly tell you, it sure does help when you are when you're in person,
Mm.
when you're talking to an individual,
Mm.
and
Right, right.
when you are addressing uh, a crowd, or when you are presenting
Mm.
something in front of people,
Mm.
or if you happen to be a faculty or a trainer or a training facilitator, you
Mm.
stand in front of a group of people. Hand gestures definitely should help in conveying some amount of message to the audience. Not completely, some
Mm.
amount, because that balances your interpretation skills.
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
And you may have
Correct.
seen some people, their hand gestures, their body language is pretty, not acceptable.
Mm, mm,
And some people's walking style also, people judge uh, one another looking at the walking style also, some of them. And
right.
your body language indicates your temperament. Importantly, you can assess a person, possibly I would say I would assess a person's, I wouldn't assess a person by his walking style. I wouldn't do that, because walking style is natural,
Mm,
correct?
right. Right.
Walking style
Right.
is natural, and the way you walk around is subconscious, so it's natural.
Right.
Some people are so intelligent and so smart that they actually,
Mm,
change their walking style accordingly.
okay.
For example, movie stars, they change the walking style.
Correct. Correct.
They change the walking style according to the situation, circumstantial, I would say. but
Correct.
but even I do it, not every time, but when I do
Mm,
it, when I'm uh, working in a professional environment, I definitely make sure my
mm,
walking style indicates that I'm polite, correct? And some
correct.
people have
Correct.
a bossy walking style, Patrikingla,
Yes, sir. Yes.
some bossy walking style.
Yes.
And it's a blend of walking style and body language. See, when you walk, you got to swing your hands also.
Mm, mm,
Some
correct.
people walk around with their hands in the pockets,
Mm,
Patrikingala. And some people, they are
yes.
very casual.
Yes.
They don't care about
Mm,
their body language. They are
mm,
themselves.
mm,
Some people, they put on an act in front of people when they are walking around, to make sure that the set of the other people who are observing them should think that this guy is polite. See, predominantly people watch your walking style.
mm,
They watch your walking style. And once they get to know that that's your natural walking style, they would
mm,
not assess you, or they would not rate you low, because when they start talking to
mm.
you, they get to know who Vinita is and who Madan is. They will not they are not
Right.
bothered about your body language or your walking style till they
Right. Right.
till they interact with you, till they pick up a conversation,
Mm,
till they get to know you. They actually would rate you on your walking style and your body language. See, body language again depends. When if you are standing in front of a crowd, it's advisable for the guys not to refrain putting their hands in the pockets. Patrikingla salapere, they actually put their hands in the pocket and they talk while they stand in front of a crowd.
yes. 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 Yes.
Patrikingla, that you can do it, but not regularly, because if some people have,
Mm,
they get into the defensive mode. That's when they put their hands in the pocket. அது எடுக்கவே
right.
மாட்டாங்க. அது
Right.
அப்படிதான் இருக்கும், பர்மனெண்டா முடியிற வரைக்கும் அப்படிதான் இருக்கும். But you may have some people, you may have seen some people also very smartly, suddenly realize that that they're doing something wrong. Immediately they take their hands out of the
Mm,
pocket and they'll try to balance their body language.
mm, mm. Correct. Correct. Correct.
And most of the lecturers, you may have seen, they would never put their hands in the pocket, because they are not conscious
True.
in the classroom for students. But
Yes. Yes.
as a corporate trainer, when you're training a set of working professionals, you are very much conscious, or you got to be conscious about what you wear. Number one, your attire, okay, which, when people look at you, the very first time you walk into a classroom, the very first glimpse the audience, or the target audience look at you, you know the impression they get before you start talking to them is different, and after you start talking to them is different.
Right. Right.
They change your perception. See, my perception about you, I don't know. I do not know about the perception about you if I happen to look at you physically for the first time. Okay, and I would not judge you by the way you look, the way you dress up. I'm not the one who'll do that. I've never done that, nor I would do that, because uh, personalities are deceptive. I cannot judge a person just by
Yep.
the way he looks or just by the way he dresses up. I don't do that.
Yep.
But yes, when you are at certain occasions, you have to dress up according to the occasion. You cannot,
Correct.
you cannot go informally dressed when you are addressing a formal gathering. You cannot go informally dressed when you don the role of a trainer. See, the trainer's role is that of a faculty. The trainer's role is that of a guru or a person who's going to transfer knowledge. So in the corporate industry, I've seen only a few people, they follow certain procedures as a trainer, but not all of them. But nowadays, அந்த ஒரு trend இல்ல. People wear jeans.
Okay.
They're not bothered about how they look. Uh, See, the reason why is even the target audience அவங்க கூட அப்படிதான் இருப்பாங்க.
Okay.
இப்போ இப்போ எப்படி இருக்கு ஜெனரேஷன் என்ன வினிதா? They're not at all bothered about their attire. They do not, there's nothing called the dress code at all. Dress code under the Anna, when you're addressing a group of people, I would advise for the men folk to dress up in a formal fashion, in shirt with a
Ah,
decent with a decent formal pant or a jeans. Even the jeans is okay because jeans pota kudo you have to insert and wear a decent shoe. And of course, yes, with your handcuffs fully buttoned. If you're wearing a
correct.
full
Correct.
sleeved shirt, if you're wearing a full sleeved shirt, they got to keep their handcuffs buttoned. No folding. I've seen some people they would have folded also.
Yes. Yes.
Patrikingla. That's still
Yes, sir.
okay, but
Yes,
still
yes.
okay. And some people I've seen unbuttoned on the top. Or button அப்படியே open பண்ணி விட்டுருக்காங்க.
Ah, correct.
Okay, that's that's not acceptable. That clearly shows. I wouldn't say it doesn't look decent. That's what I would say. மேல button
Correct.
போட்டுக்கோங்களேன். See, be button till your top button, not the collar one. At least till,
Follow.
yeah. Forget the
Yes.
collar.
Yes.
Forget the
Follow.
collar. Collar button வந்து போடுறதே போனா when you're wearing a tie. So
Yes.
this is
Correct.
one thing. And for the women folk, I don't think there is anything called as informal dress. They actually come in a formal suits. இப்பெல்லாம் formal suitல வந்திருக்கு. You get formal suits in Allen
Okay.
Solly. You get some excellent formal
Yes.
suits for the women folk. Okay. அவங்களுக்கு வந்து tie தேவையில்லை. They don't need to wear a tie. All they have to do is dress
Yes.
up in a formal wear, and they can wear a chudidar, a decent chudidar, with the dupatta on, or
Ah, correct.
a neatly draped sari. Simple as that. But
Mm.
for the men, it's very much particular because they have to do so many things. And of course, yes, you need to be neatly shaved. Importantly, that.
Correct.
Or if you have have a beard, neatly trimmed beard, and no earrings. I've seen people come with earrings.
Correct.
Yeah, nowadays the trend is they come with earrings, which I don't know. I feel ridiculous about. I feel sorry for those guys. அவங்களுக்கு அந்த எக்ஸ்போஜர்
But that's
இருக்காது.
sort of the trend.
Sorry.
But that's sort of the trend now, sir.
Trend is different. How people perceive about you is different.
Correct. Correct. But everybody is doing it. Earlier, it was different.
99%
But now,
99% people now are more unprofessional. They're more unprofessional. And secondly, you are 1 minute, Vinita.
okay, sir.
Most of the people I've seen, see, I feel sorry, or I would say I feel empathetic towards them because their exposure. See, அது வந்து that reflects their exposure. இப்போ வந்து நம்ம வீட்டில் வந்து there is something called as an upbringing. கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
We are according to the upbringing of our family. We dress up, we respect people, we follow certain rituals, we follow certain beliefs, and importantly, our behavior towards other people, it's all upbringing, Vinitha.
Correct, sir.
இப்போ வந்துட்டு if somebody who's in whose dad and mom or whose parents are illiterates, okay,
mm,
and
mm,
if they're offsprings, that means their children, you cannot
mm,
expect a very very polished way of behaving with people because their upbringing is different.
mm,
So it again, upbringing makes a great big difference in one's lives.
mm.
And again, it's just not upbringing. Some people, they come from a very poor upbringing families. When once they start studying, once they get into college, they change, slightly change, and once they start off working, அவங்க கம்ப்ளீட்டாக ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபார்ம் ஆயிடுவாங்க, பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes,
அந்த
that's good.
அந்த கேட்டகரி கூட இருக்காங்க. You can find even
Mm,
people from that category. I've seen people from that category. Until and unless they tell that my dad was this, my mom was this, you will never get to know from what kind of backing or what kind of family background he or she comes from,
true, true, true.
right? So it again depends on how quickly you grasp and you transform yourself in the midst of people or in the midst of the corporate world. Simple as that. But I've seen people also who don big roles in organizations. Okay, they may be vice presidents, they may be directors, they may be senior managers. But bottom line, personally, they would all be bad individuals.
Mm,
பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? அது கூட நான் பார்த்துருக்கேன். I've seen even such people, they are managers, they have their behavior towards people will be bad, and they are big directors. They would not know how to treat their colleagues, and secondly, they would not know how to conduct themselves in the middle of people. But the only thing is, அவங்க perform பண்ணிருக்காங்க companyல, they would have come up the ladder, or the seniorities might have made them to come up the ladder. Otherwise, அவங்க grooming will be zero. Personally, they'll be bad human beings.
true.
I've seen such people also. So being a good human being with ethics, being a good human being with morals in life, on the rombo kami vinita.
That's
Rombo kami. I think 10% now, I've seen 10% of people with all of these. If suppose someone asks me about how's Vinita, do you know her? How's Vinita? All I have to do is I don't have to tell a big story. All I have to tell is she is a nice soul. முடிஞ்சிருச்சு.
true.
புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She's excellent at work, but bottom line, she's a nice soul. முடிஞ்சிருச்சு. That's the end of the story. He must have got the message if he's sensible.
True, true.
Nice soul என்னங்க புரியும்? He's a nice person.
Mm,
He's a nice person. That's about it. You don't have to tell much about what Vinita is. He's a nice soul and inner. He's a very nice human being. See, people would respect you as a professional. People would not like you as a person, but they still respect your position. Deep down, they'll be cursing you, telling that this guy is a senior manager, he doesn't know how to talk to people, the way he treats people, he has a problem with everyone. But there are some people who are good human beings in spite of donning big roles. There are many. For example, Narayan Murthy from Infosys. Kelly
yes, yes,
and his wife Sudha Murthy. Patrikingla.
yes, sir. Yes.
They are such nice souls in spite of running such a big company. Do you know that?
True, true.
And Vipro Azimji Premji. Have you heard about him?
Yes, sir.
He is into so much. He is into so much of charity. He is an excellent human being. But people working under him may or may not be professional, may or may not be good human beings. They are the ones who will spoil the show, and they are the ones who will spoil so many people's lives. See, it's people don't leave companies, Vinita. People leave their managers. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
importantly, your conduct with people. See, when you talk about personality development, your conduct also comes into the picture. It's just not.
Correct.
Let me put that also. Let me put in the E here. Your conduct. What's conduct? Can you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See, what is conduct? Conduct is nothing but how you behave with people, how you treat people, irrespective of the position. See,
Mm.
you have the way you treat a security guard, the way you treat your
Mm.
maid, the way you treat a tramp on the road clearly shows your character.
Correct.
Correcting lad. There should not be any kind of a discrimination when you talk to people or treat people. What is discrimination? Looks like you're having a bad cough,
Being
Vinita.
yes, sir. Sir. Still. So being biased.
Correct. Discriminating is being biased. சில பேர் வந்து டிரைவருங்களை பார்த்தா they actually they look very low upon them. பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
I've seen people, but I've seen people
Yes.
who treat the drivers like their family members also.
Mm.
These are two extremes. See, basically, all this indicates how good a human being you are. Number one, you may have seen, some film stars, they treat the fans, they'll be waiting to take a selfie with the person. They'll be longing to see the person. அப்படியே தள்ளிட்டு போயிட்டு இருப்பாங்க பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, have you seen them?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Similarly, there are other fans also, other actors also, big star superstars. They would love to call the fans, be with the fans, make sure that the fans are happy.
Mm.
That clearly shows your character. That clearly shows your temperament. That clearly shows your ego levels. Ego in the you will not go anywhere. You may achieve your what do you say? Uh, your dreams. You can achieve your dreams, but as a person, you fail there.
Correct. Correct.
Correct. You may be a vice president in an organization, but you may not share a good rapport with your daughter or a son.
True. True.
You may be an excellent person at office, but you may be a bad wife or a bad husband at home.
True.
Or you may be a very top-notch guy in a senior management position, but you may have parted ways with your spouse
True.
for various personal reasons.
Yes.
Maybe ego just because you're in the position, or maybe any kind of a personal differences. So, what is the point in you being a vice president of an organization and you do not have a good personal life? Are you getting it, Vinita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. பசங்க சரி இருக்க மாட்டாங்க வீட்டில். You may be a big top-notch guy in the organization, but your son will not listen to you, your daughter will not listen to you, your son will be a spoiled brat, your daughter would have been a spoiled brat.
Correct.
Various reasons.
Correct.
Or you may not be a good mom or a good wife. But in the organization, people respect you because of the position. Simple as that.
Position. Yes. Yes.
நான் ரொம்ப பார்த்திருக்கேன் இந்த மாதிரி. So end of the day, what I tell people, what I tell whenever I train people, I've trained a lot of people. Okay, I've trained people in the VLSI institutes where we groom the BTech guys for interviews. I used to go to colleges. I used to go to colleges for campus to corporate events. Campus to corporates,
Yes, sir.
I used to go there, and I used to train people the corporate sessions in Bangalore. End of the day, I used to always tell them, be a good human being. It's not what you achieve professionally. It's what you achieve as Vinita. What you achieve as Madan is important.
Correct.
இப்போ ரோட்ல போட வந்து மதன் பார்த்தா நான் யாருன்னு என் பொசிஷன் யாருன்னு ஒண்ணுக்கு யாருக்கும் nobody knows about it.
Correct.
Correct? They would not know Vinita as a VP in an organization. They would know that you're a human being. People say that whenever I walk in the road, see, I'm a very friendly guy. Okay, I go, I'm an outgoing guy. I talk to the woman folk. I talk to guys. Whenever I go on the road, at least I have two three people, salute பண்ணுவாங்க, வணக்கம் போடுவாங்க, சார் மதர் சார் எப்படி இருக்கீங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. Till today, I most of them I don't know what their background is, and some are auto drivers. Okay, some are auto drivers, and I got to know that they're auto drivers only after 2 or 3 months, and I got to know there are some people are drivers, and some people, they are all small time people, and some people are running these small petty shops. I go to everybody, I talk, I stand, I talk, but they do not know what I am. என் background பத்தி அவனுக்கு தெரியாது. But they know that I come, I talk to them, I'm a friendly guy, he's a nice guy. And வந்து I exchange notes, I ask them, how's your family, how's your dad and mom, how's your children. See, இது வந்து when you have this personal touch with people, they become very open to you.
True.
And they actually start having a bond. You will not have a bond, but they will have a bond from inside.
True.
That makes them to talk to you, wish you whenever they see you.
True.
It's not what you come, it's not the kind of vehicle you travel, it's not the way, it's not the kind of dress you wear, basically your conduct. See, I talk to every Tom, Dick and Harry whenever I go out. My wife always tells me, how many people you going to talk. When I drive my car, I keep my hand, I keep wishing to people because they know me. So basically there's a difference, there's again a difference between you and your spouse. Your spouse might not be like you, or you cannot be like them. You cannot be like them. She is different, you're different, he is different, and you're different. Correct? He or she may be good, she may be a good human being, but she's not expressive.
Right.
There are certain set of people who are very very good, who are introverts, who are nice souls, but they won't talk to people. They won't talk to people, Patrikingla, until and unless you initiate a conversation, you break ice, and to make sure they come to the comfort zone, it might take a week or a month, or sometimes it may take more than 2 3 months also, Patrikingla.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They will not become close to you at all. They will not allow you to become close.
Correct.
They will not allow you. And ஒரு line போட்டிருக்காங்க அங்க, they'll have a barrier.
Correct.
Similarly, even in the professional life, there are barriers set. But in professional life, I'm sure that you need to have some barriers. No professional, just go to office. Do not have any professional personal connectivity with people. That's what my suggestion is. But bottom line, if they come to you for help, try to help them if it's possible only. Ilana vana. Let's not get into it.
Correct.
See, this is how your professional, you got to balance your professional life and as well as your personal life. See, I cannot be like this when I go home. When I go home, I'm a different mother altogether.
Correct.
Now I cannot be formal with my wife.
True.
I follow my I conduct myself in a subconscious fashion. I may be at home in a lungi, I may be at home in a short, or I may be at home in a track pant. Bottom line, I'm informal at home. But I cannot be the same while I'm at workplace. I can't do that. Or when I'm training people, I cannot be that. Or when I'm talking to my clients, I cannot be informal. What I do is I switch my conduct, I switch my I switch over to a different personality altogether. So I'm sure that we all do that. See, so that's it. That's the reason, your conduct, that's your behavior, not just in public, not just at weddings, not just at professional workplace. Please make sure that you have a composed behavior. What is composed? Do you see this word here? I'm highlighting it. What is composed?
Yes. We
Composed is very calm. Very calm. Yeah. A composed behavior or a composed kind of characteristics is very difficult to carry. It's very difficult to carry that kind of that kind of a personality everywhere. நீங்க எல்லா இடத்துலயும் அந்த மாதிரி பண்ண முடியாது இல்லையா? If someone picks up a fight on the road, will you stay composed? Assuming that you pick up a fight with one of your close friend, you can't stay composed. You will stay composed for quite some time, and then you will burst out. Correct? And the Mari, see, your conduct needs to be very composed, irrespective of informal or formal. And when you're working, your conduct is basically nothing but your behavioral pattern. 1 minute. Did you see this?
Yes.
Better now?
Yes.
See, I'm talking about this. Your behavioral pattern. What's pattern?
Negative.
Yeah. Your pattern. What's pattern actually? Pattern is nothing but style.
Okay.
Your style of behavior. See, behavioral pattern again is a skill again. You should know how to behave with your dad, your mom. See, your behavioral pattern with your spouse, your behavioral pattern with your dad and mom, with your boss at office, are all different, correct? You change
Correct.
accordingly,
Correct. Correct.
or you make sure that you fine tune it accordingly. So conduct is very important for a human being. It's just irrespective of whether you're a person, whether you're a trainer, whether you're anything in this world. I'm even as a person, your conduct matters most. And again, your conduct reflects your class. புரியுதுங்களா?
Correct.
Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Your conduct reflects your class. Your conduct reflects
Correct.
your culture. Your conduct reflects your upbringing. Your conduct reflects your educational background. See, educational background under the nan, I will not consider educational background. I would not want to sync that with conduct, because I've seen a lot of people even without education. For example, I know a few Uber drivers. Uber theriyalla.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Have
sir.
you traveled in Uber anytime?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ola. Have you seen some drivers? They're very, very neat. Pathirkingla?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. அதே வந்து சென்னையில் வந்து ஆட்டோ டிரைவர்ஸ் பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir.
They behave so dirtily, correct?
Mm.
I'm sure that you must have experienced, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In Bangalore,
Correct.
in Bangalore or any part of India, the Uber drivers, the Ola drivers, the cab drivers, they are trained on all of these. Do you know that?
Okay.
They are trained. They are trained on all of these. They train them on personality development. Do you know that? They train them on how to behave. First and the foremost thing is how to behave, how to address the customer, okay, and how to be polite and courteous. I'm sure that you must have seen a few Uber drivers. They're very neat. They would say
Yes, sir.
good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Some drivers I've
Yes.
seen, and whenever
Correct.
whenever I've taken Uber, most of the Uber drivers are so neat. என்ன பார்த்தோன்னையும் கன்னடாவில் சொல்லுவாங்க நமஸ்கார சார். கன்னட கேட்பாங்க என்ன. They ask me, they speak to me in Hindi, because Bangalore there are a lot of Hindi speaking people here. There are a lot of migrants, so they talk in Hindi. So I tell them, hey boss, look, I'm not a Hindi guy, I'm a localite. Upon the tenado, his behavior completely changes. He'll become too very pale, to get to know that I'm a localite. Then that's where you strike a bond there. And the way they talk to you, they say that good morning, sir. And after that, after you make the payment also, they would say, thank you, sir. Pathir Kingla.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
They're trained in all that. And some people are, even though they're trained, their behavior would not be up to the mark. And, they actually they would ask you to rate you.
Yes.
They'll actually tell me after the payment. They say that, sir, thank you. Can you please rate me?
Yes.
நீங்க பேமெண்ட் பண்ண பிற்பாடு immediately you'll get the rating pop up பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So no, they actually thrive, they actually live on those ratings because they get
Mm.
incentives, and
Yes.
all of them depends on on the rating of the driver. And
Yes.
if you want to book another cab, in the rating பண்ணாம
Mm.
the next booking வராது உங்களுக்கு.
Barabar, barabar. Correct.
Correctly, it is done in such a fashion, okay, that you
Mm.
know you definitely will feel good about the driver. When you're making the payment, immediately you'll rate him, and instantly you say five rating,
Yes. Yes.
and that will make that guy very happy, and he'll continue doing it.
Mm. Mm.
Similarly,
Correct.
it's nothing but a token of appreciation. அவ்வளவுதானே?
Correct. Correct.
It's nothing but a token of appreciation. See, I've rated Uber drivers, all my Uber drivers, wherever I go, I've rated them a 5, and I give them apart from rating, there is something called the comment column also.
Mm.
You must have seen that comment column, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
I always put it as very polite and courteous. That's
Mm.
enough.
Mm.
Very, very courteous, comma, helpful, and good conduct. இது மூணு போதும்ல அவனுக்கு.
Yeah, right.
Apart from
Correct.
rating 5, these three things which will
Mm.
help him, get his incentives. Number one, it is actually a motivational factor for them to
True.
perform better.
True. True.
Correctly, yeah. See, for example, you're working in an organization. What if there is a compliment given by your management or your manager? Don't you feel that's a morale booster for you?
Correct.
It's a morale booster for anybody. It's just not you. So we actually rate them, and they actually conduct. See, their conduct basically, it's opposite of being rude. Polite and courteous is
Mm.
opposite of rude.
Mm.
And you may have come across drivers who are pretty rude also.
Yes, Tara.
Yeah, and I think it's about two out of 100, because they would not want to be rude. But bottom line, what
Mm.
happens is they get annoyed sometimes. Have you seen them?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
You actually try to guide them. They get annoyed and they try to be rude.
Mm.
But for them, I'm sure that you don't give them a full rating because of his conduct.
Correct. Correct.
சில டிரைவர்ஸ் வந்து உங்க பேச்சை கேட்க மாட்டானுங்க. இந்த ரூட்ல போனாலும் இல்ல, நான் அப்படிதான் போவேன்னுவானுங்க. பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, they will want to follow the route which is on the app.
Yes.
They would want not to go, but நாங்க வந்துட்டு we'll ask them for a favor. I usually tell them, hey, come on, I want to pick somebody on the way. கொஞ்சம் இந்த பக்கம் போறேன். Some drivers they said, definitely sir, surely sir, you tell me the route, tell me the place and வானுங்க. But some drivers they say that no
Mm.
no sir, I cannot get out of this route. I have to stick to this route and வானுங்க.
Yes. Yes.
See, there's a difference here.
Mm.
There's a difference here. There is nothing called as a preset route. There's no rule that he has to follow the route. What if that road is blocked?
Correct.
Right? So it is his decision to get off the route and take you to the destination. And that's when you actually rate him a 5. You give him a good comment. That's when they demand for a good comment, and they deserve it.
Mm. So
So this is what conduct is all about. And even when you are actually training a set of people, assume that you're a trainer. I'm sure that your
mm.
passion is to train people, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Your passion is to train people. The trainer's conduct is marked while we
Mm.
give the feedback. And we collect a
Correct.
feedback form at the end of the training session from each and every participant, correct?
Yes.
So when we share the feedback form, or when we ask them to, give the feedback, they
Mm.
definitely, out of 10 people, assume that we have 10 people in the classroom. Out of 10
Mm.
people, 10 people, 10 temperaments, 10 ways of assessing you. The feedback might vary accordingly.
Correct.
Some guys or some person or some people might not like you.
Correct.
They would say the trainer's product knowledge is bad, and some people might say the trainer was rude, and some people might say that the trainer did not answer any of my questions, or the trainer's knowledge about the product or the subject is poor, or some people would say that the trainer's language has to be improved, his English is bad. See, all of these are nothing but feedback. It's the opinion of the participant. These are the opinions of the participants in the classroom. How they feel about you, how they feel about the class, how they feel about your process knowledge, how they feel about your domain knowledge, and how you conduct also. Conduct is very, very important. They would also say that the trainer did not answer my question, the trainer was rude.
Yes.
And they would also say the trainer is very unprofessional. Unprofessional under ஒரு word வந்து, when I say unprofessional, in what way? What way are you unprofessional? Some people, they explain the word unprofessional. Some people would say that the trainer does not answer properly. They say that my answers, none of mine, he did not answer my questions properly. In the Mari, see, again, they would also, some people would comment on the trainer's looks also. Do you know that? They say that the trainer should have come neatly dressed. All of these you'll get to know only when you share the feedback form and check with the participants to share their feedback. Every training session will have a feedback mechanism. Correct? For example, if someone wants to get married, assume that someone wants to get married, they actually, what do they do usually when they want to get married? They actually go through a known source, correct?
Correct.
அவங்க சொல்லுவாங்க, பார்ப்பா எங்க பொண்ணு இருக்கா, I have my daughter, I have to get her married, why don't you find some good alliance? You will not tell this to everybody. You will tell it to only a handful of people who you think are really good in finding a good groom for you.
Correct.
உங்க வீட்டை பத்தி உங்களுக்கு நல்லது பண்ணுன்ற ஒரு எண்ணத்தை இருக்கிறவங்க கிட்ட தான் நீங்க சொல்லுவீங்க, ஆமா இல்ல? You will not tell this to everybody. Rather, you will avoid telling to some people, even though they are your relatives.
Yes.
You will tell the day, வேணாப்பா அவனுக்கு சொல்றது வேணாம், அவன் சரியில்லைப்பா, அவன் ஏதாவது ஒன்று கூட்டின்னு வந்து மாட்டி விட்டுருவான் அப்படின்னு.
Correct.
See, I'm talking about your personal lives. And what we do is, and why do we go through referrals? Because the only reason is the referral knows both the families. He or she will tell that, that's a nice girl, that girl is nicely groomed. I've seen her from so many years, and I know the dad and mom, and she's educated, she's very neat, she's very, very cultured. See, these are nothing but opinions. These are nothing but opinions or a feedback from a person who knows you, who knows your family, who has close ties with your family, and who's trying to help you get a similar kind of family bonding for the marriage. Correct?
Correct.
So we conduct feedback everywhere, Vinita. It is just not your professional life, even your personal life also. People definitely would ask you. People கேட்பாங்க, அந்த பொண்ணு நாங்கள் பார்த்துட்டு வந்தோம் சார், அந்த பொண்ணு பற்றி, அந்த பொண்ணு எப்படி உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது தெரியுங்களா, do you know the family? கேட்பாங்கல்ல? They'll definitely ask you. They'll definitely not ask you. They'll ask somebody who knows your family.
Yes, correct.
That is where your feedback mechanism works. See, feedback mechanism என்றது வந்து, it is there across. And excuse me, assume that you go for an interview. Okay? You go for an interview, you attend the interview, you attend about 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and you're shortlisted. You are shortlisted. The only thing they have to do is they have to roll out the offer letter. Correct? Before rolling out the offer letter, they definitely would have asked you for reference checks, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
They'd ask you, I want somebody from your organization, so that can you name anybody, any of the managers, or they'll some organizations they'll ask your manager's name and number, but not all the organizations will ask manager's name and number because no one is comfortable sharing their manager's name and number because you never know what that guy is going to do, whether he's going to give a good rating or is going to mess it up for you. So normally what they do is they ask you, we wanted one of your colleagues' phone number in the place where you're currently working, correct? And they'll ask you for the last three companies' references also. Why do they do that? Vinita, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why do they take the reference details?
To know about this person.
To get a feedback about how good a person you are. Importantly, how good a person you are, not how good a professional you are. If you are a real, genuine HR, they will first ask you, how is that guy? Not professionally. See, a person with a good attitude can fit anywhere. Correct? La? A person who's a good person with a good attitude, he can fit anywhere. So importantly, the HRs, if the HRs are sensible, 95% of the HRs now are, I wouldn't say they follow anything called as ethics completely. They don't. இப்போ இல்ல அப்போத்துலேருந்து ஹெச்ஆருங்க அப்படித்தான். So what they do is some genuine HRs, what they do is they call up this person. They'll ask, this guy is come for an interview. How do you know him? And how long you've been knowing him? How long you've been knowing him? Questions like how long you've been knowing him and how is he at work? How is he as a person? How is he as a person? இதெல்லாம் கேட்பாங்க. That is ref checks. I used to handle reference checks for so many people, and people used to call me and they used to say, Madan, we have given your name for the ref check. Then I used to tell them, what is that you told them? When I say what is that you told them, I've told them what is the role you have told them about you. நீங்க உன் ரோல் என்ன அங்க சொல்லி என்ன சொல்லிட்டு இருக்க சொல்லு, so that I can repeat the same. Correct இல்ல?
Correct, correct, correct.
I can tell if Vinita has gone and told, I'll ask you, Vinita, what is that you have explained about your role? So that, when the other person calls me, I can tell that, I can tell the same thing so that, there is no mismatch.
Correct,
Number one. And number two, they'll definitely ask you how long you know her. I would say, even that also they would have asked you how long you know the manager, how long you know this guy. You would have definitely told 3 years. I'll tell you, Vinita, what is that you told about me? So I'll tell that you might tell that, Madan sir, I've told that this is my role and I know you for 3-4 years. And simple, that's more than enough. And see, when the HRs call you, they ask you how professionally good you are. Number two, what kind of a person is Vinita? So they are trying to extract information about you. I would say they would try to procure a feedback about you as a person and as well as a professional. Simple. The reason why they run a quick check is you will not give every Tom, Dick and Harry's number for ref checks. Do you? I don't think so. I'm sure that I give somebody's name and number only when I know the person so very closely. Correct?
correct, correct.
Only when I know that the person talks good about me.
Correct.
எனக்கு வந்து முந்தானே I think on Friday I got a ref check for one of my old colleague, who was working. He quit. He joined another company. He said, Madan, I've given you a number. They might call you on Monday. He called me on Friday and told they might call me on Monday. And the HRs will also tell that person that will call them on Monday. And they will also ask you, what time is this guy free? So நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம், immediately we can call the person and tell them, hey, look, I've given your name, a number for the ref check, and this is what I told them, and I told them that I know you for so many years. Simple. அந்த ஒரு க்ளூ கொடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா, if I can handle it effectively. So they do this ref check before rolling out the offer letter. This is to check your credentials. புரியுதுங்களா?
Yes.
It is just not your professional credentials. You may be an excellent as a professional. You may be an amazing manager, but bottom line, you may be a very bad human being. Who knows?
Correct. Correct.
Not There is no rule that managers and the senior managers should be good human beings. Correct, la?
Correct.
Like I've already told you, they would have harmed so many people's lives, Vinita.
Correct, sir.
People
Correct.
leave managers, not companies. Big
Correct.
big time companies, nobody would love to leave the company. And the manager, the torture, the manager, the behavior, and the manager's attitude will make this guy to look for a different job. Simple as that.
Correct.
So this is so true that people leave managers, not companies. So there, his conduct, his behavioral pattern, everything, they will definitely run a check on all of these, apart from your professional responsibilities, how good you are as a professional, and they will also run a quick check on your skills also. So this is how it works. Any questions, Vinita?
No, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Next comes, we finished this, right? Body language Mundizala.
What language is yours?
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll unmark it. Okay. Next comes your interpersonal and people management skills. What are interpersonal skills actually? And what are people management skills? Is there a difference between these two, or these two are the same? Interpersonal skills. Have you heard about this word called interpersonal skills, Vinita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
What is interpersonal skills? Some people would say that, hey, this guy is a people's manager. Have you heard about the term called people's manager? Avadina, people like him as a manager. It can be it can be your team, or it can be anybody else's team. Some people, they would love from, if they are from a different team also, they'll start liking you. They'll come and talk to you, and deep inside they'll have a very deep inside they'll have a feeling that wish this guy was my manager.
Right.
And deep inside they will say that I wish I worked for this guy. தூக்கி இந்த டீம்ல போட்டவள நல்லா இருக்கும்பா, is such a nice guy. That is basically you're liked by everybody. That's when people call you as a people's manager, or they will say you're a people's guy. People's guy, nana, you're the most liked guy. That means most of the
Like,
people like you.
correct. Correct.
People's guy. You people would say, younger pathal, irrespective of the department, they will talk to you, they will like you.
Right.
That means you possess good interpersonal skills. That means your interpersonal skills are strong. புரியுதுங்களா? You're strong with interpersonal skills. You're strong with your socializing skills. Let me put it here.
So does interpersonal include uh,
Yeah, tell me. I'm listening to you.
manage,
Sorry?
managing team,
Yes,
leadership
yes,
qualities? Does
yes.
it
See,
include all
see,
of that?
see your socializing skills. See, managerial skills, importantly, are interpersonal skills. If you do not have good interpersonal skills, I'm sure that you will not even be considered to the role of a manager, because a manager should have good socializing skills, number one, because he'll have to manage a group of people, and he has to manage 10 different set of temperaments. Correct?
Correct.
Every temperament is different. How he conducts with each and every one of them is again a skill. It doesn't come for everybody, Vinita. அது எல்லாருக்கும் வராது.
Correct.
Some managers, due to seniority, they would have become managers, but they would be very bad people. But their people management skills would be awful. People not like him. The team members not like him. Okay, and he will not know how to conduct, first of all, or he would not know how to treat people from the team, or he would not know how to interpret, or possibly he may be a person who's an introvert who's become a manager. When I say introvert who's become a manager, maybe his interpersonal skills are not up to the mark, or maybe he is not a good team player. Seniority 10 வருஷம் இருந்த மேனேஜர் ஆட்டுக்குவான்.
Right.
And some people they become managers by unrightful means also. புரியுதுங்களா? What is unrightful means? அவங்களுக்கு ஒண்ணுமே skills இருக்காது. They will not have any skills. They would have been bootlickers. Are you listening carefully?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They'll be bootlickers. You know what bootlickers are?
No, sir.
bootlickers என்ன தெரியலையா உங்களுக்கு?
Please, sir.
ஜால்ரா அடிக்கிறது.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that you
So is
understand.
it B-O? Yes, sir. So is it BOOT?
Yeah, bootlicker. But see, this is an informal word. It
Oh,
is not there in the diction. No, please
yes, yes.
don't write it down.
Yes. No, no. No, no, no. I got it.
They would have come off an unrightful means. Skills ஒண்ணுமே இருக்காது அவங்களுக்கு. See, most of the people who fall under this category, they are not the ones who will have complete skills. அதனால they become like this. So they do all this dirty games. They play games with people. They harm people. They want to come up a very unrightful way. Ethics irukadu avangalukku. They'll not have ethics.
Okay.
So these are the ones who will end up as bad managers. And there are some people who end up as good managers also, but there are only few in the category. So this is how it works. And secondly, what happens is good interpersonal skills. What are good interpersonal skills? We'll figure that out. What are the ones which we can say good interpersonal? Language. Good language. Good conduct. And that will help you reach targets. Target oriented. I say target oriented, achieve targets on time. On time. And I say time is turnaround time. ஒரு டெட்லைன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்கல்ல, that is the turnaround time. See, it's not interpersonal skills. Target oriented is basically an strong attribute of people management skills. So when you talk about people management skills, interpersonal skills are the key for this. Good people management skills. See, you may have seen, not most of them will not be good people managers. Have you seen them? The team members will hate them from inside. Patrikingla.
Yes.
They'll
Yes.
be cursing
Yes.
them. But they can't openly tell it out. They'll say, good morning, Madan. Good morning, Madan. Yes, Madan, I'll do that, Madan. But deep inside, they'll be cursing.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that means your interpersonal skills are not up to the mark. That means you're not socializing properly. You're not treating people properly. Your language may be bad, or the way you conduct with people may be bad. Forget this. This is okay. This is still okay. This is a part of the SLAs. கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? 1 minute.
Yes.
SLAs or KPI. See, when anybody for that matter, if I hire an employee, every role will have a service level agreement or a target இருக்கும். நீ இதுதான் பண்ணும். Key parameter indicators. KPI is nothing but key parameter indicators. They would have given for example, a front office, a customer support guy. He'll have a different set of KPI. He has to talk to customers. He has to reach the target. He has to do this. He has to do that. That is called as the service level agreements, or the KPI, or the target. Similarly, the SLAs and the KPIs differ from people to people. Even manager will have a SLA. What a manager's SLA? Importantly, any idea what manager's SLA is? Importantly, attrition. Have you heard about attrition? What is attrition? Attrition is people leaving jobs. So he's responsible for the attrition levels also. Out of assume that I'm a manager, okay, I have a set of 15 people in my team, okay. What if suddenly five people leave? Suddenly five people leave, or five people don't assume that leave. What if they decide to leave for various reasons? People leave organizations for various reasons, right? So you are responsible to, as a manager, you're responsible for attrition. That means you're responsible for retaining them, retention or retain, retention or retaining team members. So attrition is nothing but the number of the percentage of people who are leaving, the percentage of people who are leaving jobs in your team. So as a manager, if you are a good manager, okay, your attrition levels are low. Are you getting now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your retention rate is high. Retention under the Varadhyana, people will not even think of leaving the job if
Yes.
you're a good manager. Retention in inga varum. And the retention has to be done by the HR team. And for example, assume that you're my manager. I come and talk to you. I say that Vinita, I'm leaving my job. I don't want to continue. I'm putting my resignation. Okay. I'll tell them. I'll tell you, Vinita, I'm planning to leave. What will you do as a manager? What's that you can do as a manager? Assume that I come and talk to you. I tell you I'm planning to leave the job.
Try to retain.
As a good manager, what would you do?
Try to retain the person.
How do you try to retain him? You can try and retain a good resource only, correct? You cannot try and retain an incompetent guy who's not performing, can you?
No.
You can't,
No.
because you cannot recommend.
Correct.
So as a manager, what would you do? You would basically, you said you're going to retain. How would you retain the person? Just give me your thoughts. Or how do you think you can? How do you think you can retain?
Finding out what issues he has, and if I could solve or give him a better solution, maybe.
Can you come again?
By finding out the person's problem, and possibly if I can give an appropriate solution.
How do
But
you
that's
figure
just
out?
the
How do you
basic
figure
level.
out? See, basically, any organization, please listen up. Any
Okay.
employee, if he wants to resign, okay, for various reasons, he may got a better hike, okay, or he might not like you as a manager, or maybe just because of you as a man, just because of you he's leaving. Various reasons. What he or she will do? They will first post a resignation letter, correct? It's a letter email. They will post a resignation mailer. But will they straight away post the resignation mailer, or will they come and talk to you? Assume that he's not happy with the hike. Are you listening up?
Yes, sir. Yes.
He's not happy with the hike. Some people resign only after the yearly appraisal. And the yearly appraisal hike if the hike is not good, they'll start looking out for a change. So assuming that he is coming, he has already decided to leave. If you
mm,
are a good manager, please listen. If you are a good
mm,
manager, they will come, they will sit and talk to you and tell them that, look, Vinita, I'm not happy, I'm planning to resign. And he will
mm,
be very open with you because he likes you as a manager and you are a good manager.
mm,
You will have to
mm,
sit with the employee and check out the reasons for his decision.
mm.
Okay.
Right,
Then what happens is,
right.
and that this happens only for competent people, not incompetent ones. People
Mm,
who are performers.
mm, mm.
So what you do is basically, if you're a good
Right.
manager, you'll call the guy,
Mm,
you'll sit with
mm,
him inside a cubicle or a cabin. You
mm,
will ask him,
mm,
why are you leaving the job?
mm,
If you are a good manager, if
mm,
if you are having a good relationship with your team members, they will openly tell you that, look, Vinita, I got a hike, I'm not happy with the hike.
mm.
Then
Correct.
that means he is not happy with the hike. He wants to leave for better prospects, or he would want to leave because the other company which has interviewed him is giving a better salary
Mm,
package compared to what he is
yes,
drawing here.
correct.
Correct. Now, what will you
Yeah.
do? What is that you do as a manager, as a sensible guy, a sensible manager? என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க நீங்க?
Provide a better height.
Sorry,
Provide a better height.
I'm not. You're not audible,
Yes.
Vinita.
Provide a better height
How can you provide a better
to
hike?
retain the
You
person.
you're not authorized to provide. How will you do that? And the hike will not happen immediately. Yeah?
Yes, correct.
It will not happen immediately. ನೀವು ಚೆನ್ನ ಪಿರ್ಪಾಡ್ immediately next month ಲಿಂದ hike ಆವಾದು.
Barabar.
There are
Correct.
certain rules. There are certain HR
Mm,
rules,
mm,
right? So all you can do is
correct.
you have to, the first thing you have to do is you have to recommend a hike.
Mm, okay.
Recommend a hike. Tell him that you want a hike. You can tell
Mm,
the employee that, don't worry. If this is a real reason you want to leave, I'll make sure
mm,
that I'll go talk to the HR and I'll try to see to it that you get a hike which you deserve.
right.
Then you ask him a time. You'll ask him, just give me 2 days time, so that he will not post the resignation mailer.
Correct.
புரியுதுங்களா? I'll come. There's a big story, okay? And what you do is, if you're a real manager who's concerned about your team members, the first thing you
Mm,
do is you go to the HR, you go to the HR and tell them, hey, look, one of my boy or one of my team member wants to leave.
mm,
Okay, then they will ask you, have you spoken to the person? The managers have to
mm,
speak to the people
mm,
before he posts a resignation mailer. So you tell that, yes, I've already spoken to the person. He is
mm,
leaving. The reason why he wants to leave is for a better hike.
mm, mm.
Then the HR will ask you, how competent is this guy? How is his performance?
Correct.
And
Mm,
they will also ask you, what do you think? Should you want to retain this guy?
mm,
If the HRs are real professionals, or if you're working for
mm.
a real professional company,
Okay.
these are the protocols they follow. And
Okay.
you will tell, yes, I want to retain that guy is competent. Then the HRs will tell, that means he's looking for a hike. What kind of a hike he's looking at? Then you tell him that he's looking at a 20% hike. Then the
Mm,
HRs will ask you, are you okay with the hike? Do you recommend a hike for this guy? Then you say yes.
mm,
Then the HRs will say that, please go ahead and send me a mail, I'll approve it.
mm,
புரியுதுங்களா?
mm.
Then what you do is,
Yes.
then you get an approval from the HR. They'll not give you a hike just like
Mm,
that. They will take your opinion also.
mm,
So what they do is they actually ask you about your opinion. You don't want to let that guy go. Please remember this,
mm.
because he's a nice
Correct.
resource. He's a competent resource.
Correct.
He's been one of the best performers in the team. You cannot let go a
Mm,
nice resource just because of a hike in the salary which did not go well.
mm, mm,
So
mm.
you take the risk, You take ownership, you take responsibility as a manager to go and speak to the HR and put it across to the HR, telling that two people want to leave in my leave my thing. The only reason is they want a hike, and the HRs will ask you, how do you think? What do you think? They said, then I would say that I want to retain those guys. Then you strongly recommend. See, then you come back to the employee who wants to resign and to tell them, hey, look, you asked for a 20% hike. It's done.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, are you
That.
happy? Then the employee will ask you, sure, if that's the case, I'm going to stay back. Then, as a responsible manager, he will have to send a mail to the HR about the discussion on the hike in the salary asked by the employee, and he will take an approval mail, and he will send a mail to the employee marking the HR telling that as per our discussion, you will get a
Mm.
hike of 10%. Okay,
Mm.
that could be in the
Mm.
next quarter, or that could be in the next month also.
Okay.
Depends on the HR how quickly they process your request. Simple as that. So these
Okay.
are attributes of a good manager. So what happens is that person when he's getting a hike here, he definitely would not want to experiment in a new company, correct?
Correct.
Because if he has to leave this company, he's already a permanent employee. If he wants to go to another company, the other company might give a 20% hike, but they will put you under probation.
Correct.
Are you
Correct.
getting what I'm saying, Vinita?
Yes, sir. Yes,
They'll
sir.
put
Yes.
you on a probation, and after 6 months, you never know whether they're going to what kind of feedback they would get about you, because the whole company is new, your role is new, the
Yes.
system is new, and
Yes.
you are working with a manager who is a stranger.
Correct. Correct.
Right? So all of these things, no, what happens is all of these things will definitely help as a good manager. You retain good people, you retain competent people. That these are
Mm.
nothing but your people management skills. Did you
Yes.
get it, Vinita?
Yes, sir.
It's not as easy as we talk about people management skills. See, managing people is again a skill.
Yes.
I'll tell you one example. Excuse
Mm.
me. I'm from Bangalore. Okay,
Mm.
I
Okay.
was deputed to Tiruchi. I told you I was working in Tiruchi for 3 years.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I was working for a company called First Source. Okay, you must have heard
Okay.
about First Source, right?
Yes, sir.
First Source is a well-known BPO in the south of India, and it is a group.
Okay.
It is a group under ICSCI.
Okay.
It was a group. Now it's been taken over by the Goenka group, and we were
Okay.
deputed to Tiruchi because I knew Tamil. People who knew Tamil were
Mm.
all deputed to Tiruchi, and I was a rehire. They rehired me for the second time in the company.
Okay. Okay.
And when I went there, okay, it is a tier three
Mm.
city. I'm talking about 2007 to 2010. Tier 3 city,
Okay.
you know the mindset of a tier 3 city, conservative. Okay, they
Mm.
haven't
Mm.
been through a corporate life. They do not know. They're not sophisticated. They do not know what professionalism is. They do not know what ethics is. They would not know how to behave with an employee. They would not know what a manager's role is. They would not know what a manager's responsibilities are. But they all have, they're all from in and around Tiruchi. You know Pudukkottai, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
People from Pudukkottai, people from Madurai, people from Salem, people from Tanjore, in and around Tiruchi. They, we hired a lot of them from all of these places.
Okay.
So when I went there, the span of control of my team was 310.
Okay.
Okay, and for them, this environment was completely new. This professional environment was completely new. For them, it was a job. They were not bothered about anything. It was a job, and the salary they were actually worried about. We hired people, we had freshers, we hired a few team leads from Chennai. Okay, when I say team
Okay.
leads, they're all people with at least a minimum of 3 to 4 years experience.
Okay.
And a few people were assistant managers, and assistant managers had an experience of at least close to about 8 to 9 years. and the assistant managers used to report into the ops managers. So the assistant managers were working, they have an exposure of 8 years. The team leads have a working exposure of 4 to 5 years. So they know what the professional world is. They know they've been working, they've exposed to the professional environment. So for them, the teammates, they're all freshers. So all of the freshers, they were all from this part of the names which I mentioned, and they have not been exposed to a professional environment. We had a very, very tough time, we had a very tough time to make them understand or train them on professionalism and train them on how important clients are, train them on CSAT. You know what CSAT? Customer satisfaction scores. Why customer satisfaction is important, and why are we driving? CSAT was one of the KPIs. Okay, one of the what do you say? SLAs. So we had real difficulty. The AIMs knew, the TLs also knew, but unfortunately, the other team members who are freshers, they were ignorant about all of these things because அவங்களுக்கு அந்த experience கிடையாது பாவம். And they are all from tier 3 city. They are all from Tirchi. We had a real tough time while we trained them because training people from Bangalore is different from training people from Salem and Tirchi.
Correct. Correct.
And the mindset வேற. அந்த ஒரு மைண்ட் செட் வந்துட்டு இட்ஸ் பேசிக்கலி கன்சர்வேட்டிவ் மைண்ட் செட். அவங்களுக்கு என்ன, உங்களுக்கு வரணும், வேலை செய்யணும், போகணும், அவ்வளோதான். They did not have anything called as interpersonal skills, number one, and they did not know the attributes of a team player. You know what a team player is?
Yes.
Yeah, people manage. It's a part of people management skills. How you gel with the team and how you drive your team to reach targets, or how you play and how unitedly you are in the team is nothing but a team player. So we had a tough time training those guys, okay? And in fact, I was instrumental in training even the AIMs. Even the AIMs were not that competent because imagine they are all from the domestic exposure. See, there's a difference between a person from a domestic exposure and an international exposure. Correct? You're handling US clients, you're handling clients from Europe, you're handling clients from UK, you're handling clients from Singapore, you're handling clients from Australia, you're handling clients from Middle East, right? Your exposure, your style of delivery, your style of handling things are completely different from that of a person from a domestic background, correct? So all of these people, only one or two came from an international background. On the international background, it used to be only about a year or 1.5 years, and the learning was very, very minimal.
Okay.
So we had to train everybody. We had to train those managers, assistant managers. We had to train those team leads separately on how to handle these guys.
Okay.
See, I can handle a guy from Bangalore. I can handle a guy from Coimbatore. I can handle a guy from Chennai. But I cannot, it's a little difficult for me to handle a set of people from Madurai, Tirchi or Salem. ஏன்னா வந்து அவங்க exposure is very, very minimal. So we had to literally train all of those guys on people management and how to conduct themselves and how to retain them, and we also groom them on retention skills also. And I was talking about retention, and what happens is they retain the employee. If the employee is very adamant, assume that if the employee is really adamant, even though you're a good manager, he's not ready to stay because he's been given a better hike, or he doesn't like the process, or he's finding the process very uncomfortable, or he's not at ease with the process. He is already decided to leave in spite of you talking to him. Puridingla?
Yes.
So what we normally the managers do is they let them go. They cannot hold such people back. They'll say, okay, then we'll relieve you. Please, we'll tell them
Yes.
you got to serve a notice period of 30 days. Send me an email today, okay, and I will forward it to the HR, and your notice period will start from tomorrow, and that's going to be for 30 days or 60 days according to the company policy. So what that guy
mm,
does is he'll send an email at the,
mm,
assume that he's finished his notice period. Last 2 3 days,
mm,
as a manager,
mm,
you have to sit with that employee along with one
mm.
person from HR, and you will conduct a exit interview. Have you heard about exit interview?
I've, I've read about it, sir.
Yep. So that's when you conduct an exit interview. That is, if you're a professionally managed organization, they do all this. So what they do is an HR guy will come and sit along with the manager. They will conduct an exit interview. They'll ask you to share your honest opinion about how the company was, what was good in the
Yes.
company, and what is
Mm,
your opinion to improve or put in corrective measures.
mm,
Some people will not tell I'm leaving because of the manager, and during the exit interviews they will confidentially, they will say that they will give you a feedback about the manager. Even allada na vela
mm,
vidren solittu, they will write the feedback telling that I'm leaving because of XYZ, and they will
mm,
give a bad opinion about the manager, telling that just because of this guy only I'm leaving the organization.
mm,
So that is an exit interview. That's why you conduct an exit interview. They might talk about the process. They might say the process is bad. They
mm,
might say, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with the manager.
mm. Yes.
So they conduct an exit interview. So in the exit interviews are mainly aimed to take a feedback from an employee who's quitting, and all his opinion, the complete, assume that he's given 10 feedback. Out of 10 feedback, not all of them will be genuine.
Mm, mm.
எல்லாம் genuine இருக்காதுங்கோ.
Okay.
But when it comes to a few, they would ask you
Mm,
about the manager. If they
mm,
give, they might say, some people might say that excellent manager was excellent, but I'm leaving for my own prospect.
mm.
That's an
Yes.
exceptional case. Some people, they actually tell just because of the manager. That means you are getting a feedback about the conduct or the behavior of the manager from an employee who's leaving the organization, correct?
Right. Right.
So that is a feedback mechanism. And what these people do, the HR people do, is they will document the feedback about the manager.
Mm. Right.
They'll document the feedback about the manager. It can be good or bad. If it is bad, next thing is they will not promote this manager to the next level until and unless this guy improves as a manager. Did you get it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
புரியுதுங்களா? There's something called as IJP, internal job posting. So இந்த manager வந்து next time வந்து அவன் assistant manager வந்து if he's applying for a
Mm,
manager's role,
mm.
இதெல்லாம் இருக்கும்ல, இந்த ஒப்பீனியன் எல்லாம் இருக்கும், இந்த ஃபீட்பேக் இருக்கும்ல, this will go against him.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
So if he's not selected, they will give him a feedback. If the manager applies, if the assistant manager applies for an IJP for manager, if it does not,
Mm,
if he's not shortlisted, the HR will
mm,
call him and tell him, hey, look, you're not been selected. And these are the reasons. அப்போ
mm.
இந்த ஒரு ஃபீட்பேக் எடுத்து அங்க சொல்லுவாங்க அவங்க.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And secondly, assume that if the exit interview that the person tells bad about a manager, tells that this manager is bad, I'm leaving because of him. There is another
Mm.
process also to figure out whether that is genuine or not. How do you know that whether it's genuine or not? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
அவன் சும்மாவது போட்டு
Probably by
ha,
uh,
he might
but you know the phone now, but yes, I do see.
he might intentionally wanted to, trouble this manager.
Mm, mm,
வேணும்ட்டு வந்து grudge,
mm,
some grudge, he wants to put that grudge, he'll tell, just because of this guy I'm leaving, anyways நான் போறேன், இவனை
mm,
போட்டு கொடுத்துட்டு போயிடலாம்.
mm, mm, mm,
புரியுதுங்களா உங்களுக்கு?
mm,
அந்த
mm,
see, you will have employees like that also. So if I am a sensible HR, what I will do is after that guy leaves, I will conduct a one-on-one
mm.
with the other team members
Ah, correct. Mm,
to make sure to know whether the guy who's leaving the organization is genuinely talking about the manager or his opinions are genuine or not under the order. The HR, if the HRs are real professional, they would conduct a one-on-one feedback with the other team members.
Correct.
If it is genuine, the other team members, out of 10 team members, out of 10, not everybody will be open because they'll be scared. They will not talk good about the manager. They'll not talk bad about the manager because they're scared. So what they do is, at least out of six people, at least six people will come out and say, no, not completely openly. They say that yes. They say, no, this is what the problem is. This is what the problem is. So you document their feedback. So this is a one-on-one brown. We call it as a brown back sessions. When I say brown back sessions, it's basically the HR people having a one-on-one with the team members to get to know about their managers or taking a feedback about their managers, especially after the exit into is over of an other employee.
So could you repeat that term again?
Which one? The brown back session.
Ah, yes.
See, that's a corporate word predominantly used in the US actually. Brown bag sessions are nothing but brown bag, BROWNBAG. See, brown bag sessions in Nana, it's just basically the HR conducting a feedback survey, a feedback
Okay.
survey about the managers from within the team. If a manager on this, see, how do I know whether it's a good or bad manager? I get to know whether it's a bad manager only at the time of the exit interview when one of the employees says that I'm leaving because of this guy. Correct? La?
Correct.
So at times like that, what happens is, they will have a one-on-one. They'll schedule a one-on-one, just like that, a casual. When I say one-on-one, everybody will not know why this one-on-one has been conducted. They'll put it in a very such a tactful fashion that they'll try to extract information from the other team members about this feedback given by the exit interview guy. அவன் சொல்லிருக்கிறது whether it's genuine or not, they would want to run a cross check. Sometimes it so happens 80% it will turn out to be true.
Okay. Okay.
Only 20% will not turn out true because அவன் ஒரு grudge மேலே சொல்லிட்டு போனா கூட போறான். அவன் he will be thinking, anyways I'm going, I'll damage, I'll screw this bug as a repetition and go.
Yeah.
Because when he's talking, he doesn't have any documentation proof to say that he was a bad guy.
Correct.
Correct, la? So they'll conduct a one-on-one session and they document their feedback. And if suppose it turns out to be bad for the manager, it'll affect his IJP, internal job promotions. Or what they do is they will call that manager and they will tell him, hey, look, this is a feedback and this is where you need to work. These are the areas of opportunities you need to work on. அவனுக்கு warning கொடுத்துட்டு then they will tell you will not be considered for any of the IJPs for the next 6 months or 1 year. புரியுதுங்களா? He cannot apply. Or even if he applies, he will not be considered because of all of these reasons. They'll call the manager and they'll tell him this is what it is. So what he does, he will get to know that the HRs know about it. So he will try to work on the areas of opportunity so that he can also apply for IJPs. And the IJP apply பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு வருஷம் அவன்கிட்ட ஆவறதில்ல. He cannot, because he would have got a bad feedback. And the manager அவன் 1 வருஷம் இருக்கலாம் 2 வருஷம். Again after 1 year, they will again conduct a one-on-one to check whether this guy is improved. This is how it works. So to be in the good books of your team members, you need to have good interpersonal skills, Vinita. Important. You got to be friendly. Interpersonal skills are nothing but how friendly you are, how accommodative you are. When you say accommodative, you got to accommodate every team member. You cannot discriminate. சில பேர் என்ன பண்றாங்க, they'll be favoritism, they'll have biased feeling. இந்த பொண்ணுங்களுக்கெல்லாம் சில மேனேஜர்களுக்கெல்லாம் they'll have favoritism. I've seen some some people, they'll have favoritism against some guys or some guys. It's basically how biased you treat people. So all of these things boils down to one thing is you need to be uniform with people. Your conduct, it depends on your conduct, how you actually treat people, whether it's a boy, a girl. You need to be unbiased, and
Correct.
people should love you. People should like you as a manager. That's when you are called as a people's manager.
People's manager.
And people's
Yeah.
manager, they are the ones who will be considered for growing up the ladder.
Mm.
They'll get a good feedback about this guy. They'll ask generally, hey, he's a fantastic guy. I would love to, anybody would love to work with him. So அந்த ஒரு opinion வந்துச்சுன்னா, believe me,
Mm.
there is no looking back. That means you are
Mm.
excellent in this. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, you are excellent with your people management skills. See, people management skills is not everyone's cup of tea. Please remember,
correct.
some people learn it, some people they have it
Mm.
within themselves, within them actually.
Mm. Mm.
Especially in the people management skills, I would say politicians.
Mm. Mhm.
பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir.
Politicians, they have excellent people management skills.
Mm. Correct.
And people management skills also has something called as delegating skills.
Mm. Okay.
What is delegating? How you delegate work. எப்படி வேலை வாங்குறீங்க புரியுதுங்களா?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
People management skills, again, how you delegate work. எப்படி வேலை வாங்குறீங்க. Delegating work is also a skill actually.
Correct.
And importantly, as a manager, you need to identify people with competency, people with potent.
Mm. Mm.
That's a manager's one of the manager's skills.
Correct.
How you balance. When you say people, you need to identify people with potent. You need to identify people with real skills. Rather,
Correct.
there's a top-notch performer. Should be, you as a good manager, you should identify such people. Why?
Mm.
Why should you identify such people? You can manage the show, you can delegate work, and you can push off. Why should you do that as a manager? Why should you be doing it? Any idea? Why should you be identifying people?
So the person can get the job done.
No, no. My question is, as a manager,
Mm.
one
Mm.
of one of the skill, one of the key attributes is you need to identify people with potent.
Mm.
That's one of the managerial skills. What do you mean by potent? People
Correct.
with real skills, people who are performers. You
Yes.
have to identify as managers. Why should you do that?
To have a better team.
Not really. See, basically they do that as
Mm.
a manager. I would say I would identify potent. That is to make sure that I create leaders
Mm.
within the team. I give another person a chance. See, if the person deserves to be a team leader tomorrow, I can always
Mm.
recommend telling that XYZ Vinita is good. She's a team lead stuff. I identify your potent. அப்ப என்ன ஆயிடுதுன்னாப்போ, for you to move up the ladder as a team member is easy. So what I do is I earmark XYZ people. I earmark telling that these are people who have leadership skills. These are people with potent. This guy can become a trainer. I can always tell that XYZ, this guy has a potent to become a trainer. This guy has a potent to become a team lead. This guy has a potent to become an SME. So I, as a manager, I should have the skill to identify potent with respect to the skills which you are good at. Simple. I cannot just say Vinita is a good manager. No, I can say, okay, I always I have to tell the HR or identify document, tell that the HR will ask you. They'll ask you tomorrow. I can only say that Vinita is a trainer staff.
Mm.
I can say XYZ is a team lead stuff. That means I recommend you to be a trainer. That means if there is something coming up in the training department, you can consider Vinita. Under ஒரு மாதிரி recommendation கொடுக்குற மாதிரி ஒரு skill இருக்கணும். That is what a manager skill is. See, this is the attribute of a manager. நீங்க போறது, manager வேலை பண்றது, delegate பண்றது. See, even your team members will be bored. He's not identifying, I'm giving it my best shot. I'm doing so much for the team. I'm performing. I'm contributing. But
correct,
still, I am not being identified under our Mari feeling varalla.
correct, correct, correct.
Yeah. So what I do is, as a manager, I will identify this and I will start delegating. I'll call Vinita. Vinita, I'll call Vinita. Vinita, please come over. They'll tell that there are some, see, these are 10 new people who are come for the team, Vinita. Why don't you train them on the process?
Mm.
Don't you think you'll be very happy to do that?
Yes, true.
I'll give an extra responsibility. I'll tell that Vinita, I'll call you to the cabin. Vinita, I find you the best person to train these people. Don't you think you'll feel good about the whole thing? It's a motivational factor.
Correct, 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 correct.
So you will go, it's a morale booster. Then you will start thinking that, oh my God,
Mm.
I've been doing a good job and
Yes,
I'm
yes,
he's recognized me.
yes.
That is one important aspect. So what happens is you delegate that work to XYZ. Tell that, teach these people, train them on process.
Mm. Correct.
Train them on process. So you will definitely will feel motivated to go on train on the process. So you will also know that
Mm.
this guy is delegating because I'm
Mm.
good at process. I'm good at process, and he's giving me the additional responsibility. So you feel good about the whole role which has been given to you. Paper, it will not be on paper,
Correct,
but you definitely will get a feeler that, oh my God, I've been given this role. I'll do it. So what happens is you'll go the extra mile to do things.
correct, correct.
That is called as delegating work as a manager.
Mm.
Any questions, Vinita?
So you mentioned this term IJP,
Internal job posting.
job posting. Okay,
Internal job posting. That means
job posting.
if there is a managerial role, they will actually publish it within the organization, okay, or within the process. Anybody can apply. Even if you want to apply, there are prerequisites. Prerequisites in
Okay.
English, conditions,
They, oh, okay.
requirement, condition. So they will say
Yeah.
prerequisites. You should have been 1 year in the process, or you should have been an employee for the employee for 1 year. You should be a graduate.
Mm.
In the Mari, there'll be
Mm.
prerequisites. So on the
Mm.
prerequisites, you match up with the prerequisites, only then you can apply. And secondly, once you apply, it has to be recommended by your manager to the HR. See,
Okay.
these are the protocols which we normally follow.
Okay.
So we'll stop at here. We'll resume tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
See, people management skills,
Okay, sir.
leadership, these are all leadership skills. See,
Mm.
being a leader on paper is different. Being a leader and practically
Mm.
proving that you're a leader is completely different.
Mm.
There are some excellent leaders I've worked with, but unfortunately, Vinita, let me tell you, nowadays, the
Mm.
so-called leaders, 95% are all incompetent.
Mm. Okay.
95%. Because they would have come up
Mm.
the unrightful means. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They would have,
I had this thought in my head and it just completely.
sorry?
I had this thought in my head. I was just going to ask you, incompetent, then how do they become leaders? But then you gave the
Unrightful
answer.
means
They're an unrightful
unrightful,
one. Yeah.
unprofessional, you know,
Mm.
and they would have been reporting to some people. Okay,
Mm.
they themselves will be
Mm.
incompetent. See, if I'm a leader, assume that I'm a
Mm.
director. If I'm competent,
Mhm.
I'll definitely will
Mm.
not entertain such things. Correct?
Correct.
If I
Correct.
am, if I am entertaining such people, that means even I have come up that way only. இல்லைங்களா?
Correct. Correct.
நான் கூட
Right.
அதே மாதிரி தான் மேலே வந்திருக்கிறது. அதனால தான் I love to be surrounded by such people.
ஆமா. Correct.
So incompetency, it cannot come from the grassroots level. It has to come from the top level. So the top level people only,
Mm.
majority of them are incompetent. அவங்கெல்லாம் பண்ணாத வேலைலாம் பண்ணிட்டு மேல வந்திருக்காங்க. Unrightful means unethically. They would have spoiled so
mm,
many people's lives. And
true.
so அவங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு இந்த மாதிரி ஆளுங்க தான் தேவை. They would not want
Mm,
competent people because they'll be scared that they'll be exposed.
mm,
Are you getting what I'm saying now?
correct. Yes, yes,
So that
yes.
is the whole logic. Corporate world is filth, I'm telling you. It's dirty.
Mm,
பார்க்கறதுக்கு தான்
mm,
corporate world, Vinita, but it's actually dirty. So
mm,
all you have to
correct.
do is just go to work, finish your job, keep coming.
Mm, sure.
1 minute,
No.
1 minute, 1 minute, Vinita. Just give me a moment. Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is not first floor. This is second floor. Sorry, Vinita. So this is how it works. This is how the corporate industry is. See, the corporate industry is
Mm,
shit, Vinita. I'm telling you, I'm sorry to use this word. It is filled with unethical, unprofessional people for now. Okay. For now, you got to work in, see, whatever said and done, we need to maintain our
mm,
professionalism wherever we go.
mm,
Whether we see, you should, you shall be, you can call yourself very fortunate if you're having, or if you're reporting into a manager who's very competent.
mm, mm.
Because the reason why I'm telling you is, first thing is, you're fortunate to have a competent manager, number one. Number two,
Right.
you learn something from a competent one.
Correct.
There is a learning.
Mm,
Okay, there is learning from
correct.
a competent manager. What is that you learn from a manager who's incompetent here?
Nothing.
Absolutely. So the world, the corporate world is such that it's filled, it's infested. I would use the word infested with incompetency.
Mm,
Now for now. Not like the times when I used to be there. Pesavaradugo, they do
mm,
not know how to talk to people. Do you know that? Their language skills are,
mm,
I would say, bad or awful, but still they'd be calling themselves as senior manager. Senior managers, they're all senior managers, directors, or email they would not be able to draft an email. That is
mm,
that is the pathetic state of affairs. So when, and majority of them are like that, the good ones are sidelined.
mm.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes,
So the
yes.
good ones who are sidelined, they actually leave companies, they leave managers. Simple logic. புரியுதுங்களா?
Mm, okay.
I would not be comfortable working with an incompetent manager. Seriously, no. And
Correct.
secondly, what
Correct.
happens is, your manager, if they get to know that you're competent, only a
Mm,
few, only a few will love to work with you. The rest, they would get into a complex.
mm,
Even though
correct.
even though
Correct.
I'm reporting it to you, if you are incompetent,
Mm,
you definitely will feel
mm,
the heat. You will definitely will get into
mm, mm,
complex. That's the time you'll
mm,
start sidelining me, or you'll start harming me, or you'll start putting me to trouble and trying to push me
correct.
away from the system.
Correct. Correct.
Because you will know that you have been exposed, or you'll
Mm,
get exposed. This is how the world is, corporate
correct.
world is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vinita, one moment. Just give me a moment, Vinita.
Sure, sure, sure.
Sorry, Vinata, there was a call for me. So this is how the corporate world is. Corporate world, I'll tell you, now there isn't much learning. But bottom line, you need to follow the protocol. Number one, there is a process set.
Mm,
You learn the processes. There is something called as a standard operating procedures. We call it an SOP. So every
okay.
process will have a guideline. So there is
Mm,
learning. Apart from this, there is learning also. There is learning. There is learning about the process, about the technicalities of the process. That is where you are benefited. நீங்க கத்துக்கணும், you have to learn, and you have to keep moving. You got to switch. You got to keep switching companies if you find this company, or if
mm,
you find yourself stagnated, or
mm,
if you find your
correct.
manager is not the one who where
Mm,
you can learn anything. See, managers are basically role
mm,
models, correct?
Correct, correct,
ரோல் மாடல்னா தெரியல உங்களுக்கு.
correct, correct.
See, your managers should be role models, number one, and you should
Mm,
be you should feel proud that you're reporting into a manager who's very competent, or definitely a competent one, where you and
mm,
there is something you learn.
correct.
Where's the point to report into a manager who's incompetent and who's not even competent enough to
Mm,
educate you on certain aspects of the professional industry? It doesn't work.
correct.
So this is how people leave organizations, and they sideline people with competency. அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு threat, they feel that you're a threat.
Mm,
புரியுதுங்களா?
right.
And I have experienced it on my personally, I have experienced it in many of the organizations where I worked.
Mm,
See,
okay.
my strengths are language, correct?
Mm, correct.
I'm proud. I'm proud to say that my strengths are language and emails, and I train
Mm,
people. In a bottom line, nobody can snatch away my skills. I don't think nobody can
correct,
do that
correct,
even with you.
correct.
They cannot snatch away your competency, can they?
No, no,
And they cannot learn your competency until unless they are competent enough to learn.
correct, correct.
So this is how the whole logic is all about. Any questions, Vinita? We'll stop at here.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Sorry, we started a little late today.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I've highlighted here, and there are a few things also which we may have to work on. See this paradigm is huge.
Mm,
Leadership skills are huge. Again, I'll also try to touch upon how you can present a PowerPoint presentation.
okay, sir.
Okay. See, running a PowerPoint presentation and teaching in front of people, these are all different skills.
Mm,
Running a PowerPoint presentation is nothing but you are actually trying to elaborate on each and every point on a slide, correct?
correct, correct.
The slides are briefers, and how good,
Yes.
how well versed you are. For example, I've highlighted here interpersonal skills, socializing skills, people management skills. How
Mm,
you're going to elaborate and how you're going to, explain in a
explain.
in
Mm,
explain or interpret in a elaborative fashion is your skill.
mm,
Similarly, on a
correct.
PPT, the pointers you put
Mm,
down on a slide, you have to explain
mm,
every pointer in your own words,
correct.
adhering to certain set of guidelines. So I'll teach you
Mm,
even that.
okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions for today?
No, sir.
Right.
All good, sir.
Tomorrow you can come out. Please chalk out your thoughts also. You're not coming out with your thoughts.
Mm,
Please come out with your thoughts. I'm
okay,
not too
sir.
sure, but uh, these are the actuals. When I talk about people management skills is huge paradigm. It's a very, very
Mm,
huge
yes,
paradigm.
sir.
He's just not good at people management. His language should be good. He should be good on emails. He should be good on
Mm,
protocol management. He should be good on attrition. Tomorrow I'll cover a few pointers on people management skills.
okay, sir.
Okay. For now, I think we'll what do you say? We'll conclude the class for today. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and we'll catch up tomorrow again.
Okay, sir.
You can come out with a few topics. I'm not too sure whether these topics are helping you. Is this really helpful to you?
Yes, sir. It is. It
Yeah.
is.
And write it down on a piece of paper, scribble it down,
Yes,
make notes, and you can come out
yes.
tomorrow and ask questions. We'll have a recap before we start with the next class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we shall take
Okay,
leave today. Vinita, goodbye. Have a wonderful day. It was nice being with you today.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You take care. Okay.
Yes.
Have a
Thank you,
fabulous
sir.
day.
Yes,
Bye bye, Vinita.
sir. Thank you.